Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimatananda Tirtha Bhagavatpadacharyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Sthititolaya Nidhi Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Surasaukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Matiprabhudan Vadanirasakritvan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु व्यामस्तु सदावधैः ओम शांति शांति शांति. Welcome friends. We are on to the first mantra of the third chapter of the second adhyaya. This is the final adhyaya which we have embarked upon discussing the final, the culmination of the entire Kathopanishad in this particular chapter. This is the final chapter. It is the sixth chapter of the Kathopanishad, or the third chapter of the second part of the Kathopanishad, where we have come. The first mantra, we have been trying to discuss as much in detail as possible, because this has got a parallel in the Bhagavad Gita, the first mantra of the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which gives the same sort of an import, same sort of a meaning as in the Kathopanishad. It has almost been taken exactly word to word from Kathopanishad into Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita given certain nuances so that, because it can be understood in the flow of the yoga that has been propounded in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Here we are seeing the tree of samsara. That is what we are discussing. What we have seen in the first mantra, which we have discussed partly, but it is such a wonderful mantra, this we will have to understand in very much in detail to go through this particular chapter, as well as to have the essence of Kathopanishad ingrained in us, so that we are able to understand, adopt that particular, because whatever we are going through in our attitude, in our thought, in our words, and in our deeds. Why it is so important? Because this is exactly, because what the mantra we have recited, because one first line of the mantra said, Urdhvamulam Vakshakam, Urdhvamulam Mula Avakshakaha. Murdhva Mula Avakshakaha, in the Urdhva, in the sense it is always going up. Why this word Urdhva has been given importance, both in Bhagavad Gita and as well as Kathopanishad? If you put, because these sign marks, because every denomination has got their own sign marks to be put in. For Chandan, because we put upwards, like, because we and the Vaishnavas, they put it towards upwards. It goes up. Urdhva, in the sense, it is taking, from your Muladhara chakra. It comes to your upwards, it is going through the Anahata, and then it goes up to your Agya Chakra and Sahasrara. It goes up. It is like a Kundalini. It is like a Raja Yoga. You tell to elevate us. Upanishad itself, Upanishadaha, this Uparishada. It is always elevating to another dimension of our own thinking. How you become, to another dimension. When you are broaden your thinking, when you encompass, because when you give up all your luggages of Kama Krodha, and Mada Mascharya and all, when you are able to take, because you open up, you are an open book. You don't have anything to confine yourself. You don't have anything to hold on to your chest. You are so open. When you are so open, nothing can, because you are not bothered about it. You are really fearless when you open up. Till then, you are fearful, because though you may declare, that I am courageous and all, you are not at all. You will be open to, because you will think, if they come to know about this particular aspect of me, because I will be like this, you will constantly be trying to ward off and fence yourself around with your limitations, so that gives you the comfort of going about what you feel that others are thinking about you. Once you give it up, Don't bother, because what other, because for me, I will have to flourish. Does the tree worry about, because who is looking at what they're commenting on? It goes about high, urdhva, it is goes up towards the sky. That is urdhva. It is goes up to the sunshine, it is goes up to catch the raindrops. It goes up to, because give as much as possible, because wherever, if you go to all sort of a national, because the gardens or, because Yosemite or anywhere else, or even in Indian, Himalayas, they are all growing to as tall as possible. The Sina tree, this goes up to so such a height, it flourishes itself. It doesn't have anything to bother. It is not. But whereas as human beings, we have built around some sort of a fence around ourselves, because some sort of a thought about it. Because how it has come, it is all the ego has been boosted. How the ego has been boosted, because we have kept our limitation intact. We have not come out of the limitation. Once you have to come out of the limit, once you come out of the limitation, you become a glorious person. Your life become a glorious life. When all the three questions Nachiketa answered, finally when the final question was being answered by Yama, the vision emerges as a result of all those answers. The three aspects of the visions are the glorify the Lord or glorify the power that has given you to perform. Because you are not the performer, you are not the doer. That we will have to understand first. The glorify the Lord, who is glorified, is being reflected in your actions. He will be reflected in your actions once you realize and take it in your inward that you are not the doer, you are getting it done by the Lord or the power that be. Once you have that, that is glorifying the Lord, is it should reflect on our every thought and action, every word, deed, and whatever we commit ourselves. How it can happen? Only when your intent and action are one and the same. Your intent will be so sattvic, because so sort of, you will not be having any sort of a ulterior motive. You will only be having a sort of a motive, because in which you want to perform a job, which is you've got to do as a matter of your duty and your capability is there. So you are trying to give the best out of that. So God will be reflected in every moment when you are doing it yourself with a total concentration, without bothering about what others think, what is going to come and all. How you will be able to come get it? For that, we say Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is a great word, that has been used, because you don't expect any fruits. In the sense, you don't have to go to that level. And once you concentrate, your question of expecting the fruit doesn't arise, because you are working on the performing yourself as best as possible within the means and capability what has been provided to you, what you have developed. So you would not be bothered about, you are trying to put, I am trying to do, I am not bothered about what is going to come out. Suppose if there is an error, I will correct it. If there is something, because come impediment, I will try to find what is it, this I am not bothered. So once you have that attitude, how it will come? It will come the vairagya. Vairagya in the sense, no, I have to do it. Perseverance, I will do it. I have got this ability. And there is certain things I have to learn, because to do it better, it is a continuous process. Once you do that, once you work on that, that is what, exactly finally gives you the results. Yesterday, the Nobel Prize for the literature was announced to a Hungarian sort of a writer who was not known, so well known all over the world. But he was going about his job, because he has been writing for the life. And someone asked the Nobel laureate, how you choose the Nobel Prize? Is it that, because there is some, like in India, you've got some select groups, who will sponsor you and who will put, your name, in forward. Is it that, the Nobel Prize is being awarded, or how is it? For that, one of the Nobel Committee members, who was participant in the selection of the Nobel Prize for Literature, he answered, the lady answered, she's herself a well-known novelist, in Swedish. She was telling how what we try to find is, because it is a lifetime process. It is not, because you write one or two things, it becomes sort of eligible to get a Nobel Prize and all. It is something, which people are working on. So everyone try to develop that, but develop their creativity. What is creativity? The creativity is something which we can't define. The creativity happens, the God chooses the person to give the creativity appropriate to that person. So he is trying to work and concentrate on that. He has been working for the last 50 years. He never expected a Nobel Prize or anything like that. Finally, it was awarded to him. because he has got his own way of expressing himself, whatever he is observing as a part of the society, and how he wanted the society to emulate and evolve, because he was trying to bring in, as well as he was bringing about what is happening in the society, which is not exactly in line with people do accept. So every time in the life things happen, when we happen with how long this will happen. I mean, will there be any sort of a dawn? Will I be able to be in the darkness all through, like this, when the moment comes, how we have to go, because we say only hope is the only mirror, hope is the only light that will guide you through. Then because if you become despondent, hopelessness, then that it takes you down. So that's why when the writers say, because they give such a sort of dire circumstances, when the great writers you find, because you will not find any pleasant reading in them. They will discuss, every apocalypse and every disaster and every vicissitude that comes about, and finally this writer is also like that, because the one who has been awarded the Nobel laureate. But he's right, I never bothered, because I was part of the suffering, and I also know how people have suffered. And I was just giving an expression to the suffering, and as well as what possibly could happen better, because this too shall pass, like as we think. He also said, but that day never comes during the lifetime of some other people. It may come later. So during the Mahatma Gandhi's lifetime, of course, independence came, but he was not here to see, the how the independence has brought about, the changes in the country. Because he worked for that. That's all. His lifetime was over. Because then others who have taken over, and they have tried to rather given ascribe a meaning to what he wanted and what is happening and all. Like on that only we are discussing like this. Likewise, what it happens when you have a great, glorious vision of the life, finally you get out of the Upanishad is, you try to reflect, the power that is making you to act in every word, every deed, and every creed, in the sense. You are trying to bring out the best in you, because in the sense, because once you are a moody and you are being, always weaned away by the mood in which, you are there and all, your actions will not be that. When you are able to keep yourself little away from the mood, and as well as the swings that takes place and all, you are able to walk, then you will be able to see, you will just sort of, they persevere with that. You will endure it. The ability to endure and acceptance is the highest quality to understand the glory of the life. If you don't have the ability to endure, if you, for every drop of a hat, if you think, look, why it is happening to me, you should then try to ask why it should not happen to me. Am I so special? When it is happening to so many other people, it can happen to me as well. And once you know that, because as a human being, having come here, because everyone is subjected to that, you will not have that. But to have that attitude, the spiritual practice are very important. That is what in the sadhana, what has been discussed about in the earlier chapters. Finally, once you go through the sadhana and attain that mental makeup, the mental mindset to accept and endure whatever comes. Endure is not that you will have to do that, because that it every time something endures, it is also knocking for something that is better to come. When you have some happiness, when the happiness knocks at you, it is also knocking something is likely to follow, which may not be happiness as it is in your mindset, because it is like that. So the entire process is being described in this particular mantra to say, because basically it gives you three things. You glorify your action in the sense, you work to, you give your best irrespective of the circumstances, irrespective of the happenings, irrespective of, because what is your physical or mental or spiritual quotient of yours, you try to do, just go about doing it. And that is the reflection of the divinity. And try to see the divinity all around. The divinity, the glory, because whenever you are walking, because after a rain, you try to see the trees, as well as, because you see, because children going to the school carrying, because more than 3 kgs of 3 to 4 kgs of, because the bag. In our time, we didn't carry even because half a kg, there was no need. They are carrying, and at the same time, they are going with a smile. So they don't consider it to be a burden, because I consider it to be a burden, because in my time I have to carry only few books. That too, if I choose to, because we didn't have so many books and all. And now these children, even sort of 5 year, 6 year old kids, they are carrying it. And they are carrying it with a smile. That is, because they are able to, they don't consider it to be a burden, because that is a mindset. But for me, because having been used to, I consider it to be a burden. This is exactly, because once I become a childlike, that mindset, then nothing will be a burden. This is what they are trying to see the divinity everywhere and wherever you see. Divinity in the sense, look, even a person who is trying to insult you, who is trying to be sort of doing all riffraff things and all, because, okay, you just leave it at that. But there are so many people face him, without with a smile, because that itself is a sort of a divinity. So you try to take that, be magnanimous. Don't be, self-centered. It is happening to me, I did everything and all. Because don't take away the I. Okay, because it's happening. Let us see as it goes up. What am I to do next? Work on that. Once that, it will give you the wherewithal to go forward. Otherwise, it will pull you back to do that. So all these things have been brought about in this particular great mantra. This is the first mantra which we have discussed, which is also we are going to discuss in detail. In fact, next week also, it is so important a mantra. So the same mantra is being reflected, as I was telling, in Bhagavad Gita, first mantra, 15th chapter. It is also a very great important mantra. It has been interpreted by many masters in a different way to bring about the essence of this particular concept, so that we can make ourselves, our life, a glorified life for which we have come. The purpose of the life will be realized once we understand the meaning of that. Urdhvamulam vakshaka avakshakaha. The one, urdhvamulam, urdhva is always, because trying to go up. Whenever you put, because all the marks, the religious marks, it is murda moolam, because it is like, going up from Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, and then because it, Anahata, and then it comes to Vishuddhi, and then Agya Chakra, Sahasrara, it goes. The energy is always, because that is the natural flow of the energy. When the natural flow of the energy, when it goes up, because when you are able to act, when you get tired, because then the energy comes down. When it comes, because then it goes through the same channel. Then what you have to do, you will have to give it to the universe, because then you try to recoup yourself with the energy, because by again reactivating yourself. That is the cycle. The chakras help you to reverberate and revive yourself, rejuvenate and go every moment after moment. That is why if you know the chakra meditation and others, those who are doing, because they will be trying to tell you that, but this is happening naturally, because the chakras are not in your body as it is. You will not be able to, by dissecting the body, you will not find the chakras. You will only find the glands. The chakras are the switches that activate the glands. By how they are telling, you will be able to control your diabetic, and how will be able to control your blood pressure, how will be able to control the performance of your heart and all, is by working through the switches of the chakra which is there in our Sushma Sarira, the Pranamaya Kosha which is there. So the chakras, what we are discussing, they are all the switches in there. By doing the meditation as well as doing that, and we are energizing, and by following proper practices of a food intake, you will be able to achieve all those results. This is what has been brought about, and the same thing is being said in Uddhamulam Vakshakam Esha Ashvatah Sanatana. See that what they say, Uddhamulam Vakshakam is this inverted tree, the roots above, branches below. Normally, we see the trees, the roots are below the ground, and the bark is upside, and then your branches, leaves, and fruits and flowers up. This is what is happening. Why they are telling Urdhvamulam? Why? Because 15th chapter of first mantra, 15th chapter also says the visible thing forever is, because the roots are not visible. You don't know, because even a banyan tree, because what is the root it has gone, where all it has gone, we don't know. It's gone, it must have gone far beyond somewhere, sometimes it goes even about half a mile, and all it goes, because it has to gather water and nutrition and gives it to the tree, which is invisible, like what we are trying to know, because the ultimate power, the God and all, is invisible. We don't know, but we are able to see the bark, leaves, and other things. Here they are trying to explain the entire spiritual practice into a beautiful simile. Urdhva in the beginning, how you will be able to say the inverted tree, assuming, because that you are by the side of a river. If the tree is there on the bank, And if you just observe the river, in the water, if you see the trees, the entire, the image of the tree will be falling into the water, it will be inverted. They say that is how, because the entire life is, which you are not able to see. The root is up, because the life force comes from up. And from the life force, when it comes, because it comes to the root, through the moon. The root is what is that, the life. The root is the Brahman, or what we call Mahat Tattva. The Mahat Tattva is the highest one. How it comes? It is from Avyaya, which is not seen, in the Mula Prakriti, what we call. From there, because it has given. From there, because what we call is the universal consciousness and all those things, we have discussed earlier. We will also try to explain that in a simile like that. When you see the inverted tree in the image of the river, suppose, on the banks of Ganges, you were able to see a people tree, the inverted image. They say, try to see the inverted image for your, because as to understand spiritually how you can be and all. That image will be constant. Why? Because the water is flowing. The water is flowing in a continuous silent stream, because it's a beautiful, because when clear, sparkling water, it goes, you are able to see the image. But the image, because will be wavering, and because depending upon the waves that is coming about and all. But the image, or what it, if it is there, if the sun is shining, because the image will be very clear. If there is a cloud, because it will be a little down. But the image is there, and the tree is permanent, so the image is permanent. What you are seeing is, whatever image you are seeing in the water, it is, appears to be constant, but it is always changing. What they are saying is, in the life, whatever is happening, when you are observing your own life as a sort of a third person, which is not possible unless you get into the elevated stage of consciousness, realizing and giving up, because all the luggages what we have, if you are able to see that, you are able to see, as a sort of a witness consciousness. It's very, very difficult to have that witness consciousness. In the witness consciousness, what happens? Everything is changing, but they appear to be constant. They are ephemeral because they are not same as. But on the other hand, the real tree, the image of which is king, it is a real tree. It has got the roots which is giving the nourishment and all. The ground is that of the entire Brahman. The nourishment, water, everything that is given is the Brahman. And through that, because you are getting in because the roots, which is gives, through which, you are getting, this Avyaya and the Prakriti and all. Finally, it comes, the branches and the leaves. Here they are giving, because all the leaves and all the flowers, they are giving some sort of a simile here. We will see how it is being explained and all. Once you understand that, when the river flows and the water when flows, it is not bothered about what is happening in the banks. It is only flowing through the channel, through which, it takes course. It takes. It is not bothering. It goes in the fine. If you are taking the life like that, because you will be a witness. You don't bother, because that is sometimes, if you see 20 years before, something wonderful must have happened. 10 years before, something miserable must have happened. They are all like the banks, because you are not bothered about what is happening to the bank. Your life flows. That is vairagya. When you are able to go through without bothering about, what is happening, because something may happen also. You are not bothered about it. You are taking your course. Once you are taking that course, you don't bother about it. But to understand that, the Upanishad has given a simile. You see the image of the tree, and because Urdhva Moolam, because inverted tree. The entire nourishment comes from there, which you are not able to see. But you think, you are everything and all. If the nourishment stops, because when you are not getting the grace, you are nobody. You will not be able to do anything. And it is coming through so many channels, because then Mula Prakriti, she gives entire Prakriti and all. Then from there, the Brahman, who has created all the creatures and all, he gives the ability to receive the energy and get, get the action done. Though we are not the doers, we will be the instruments who can do that. Finally, when we do that, we get into entire thing. And then the leaves, what they are discussing here, one of the verses giving, because some simile we will see that they are like, because the final Vedic, the scripture Shrutis. Once because the leaves are the one finally, gives all these sort of, it is able to give the chlorophyll and give everything, brought it to this one. Once you get the sufficient wherewithal to understand the life and give the best of your capability that comes through this. They are all Vedic scripts. And this entire thing has been given here. Once you understand that, because you are looking for the fruits, naturally you will get the fruits. Once you start enjoying the fruits, once you know, because from the real nature of it, you will not be bothered about the fruits, but you will be taking the fruits, and then you will be going further into that. But there are two routes they are telling. Once the primary roots, in which you will be able to get the energy and get into the leaves, you will be flourish into the leaves, get all the knowledge, because as the Vedic or the spiritual knowledge you are able to get. Finally, whatever fruits you come, you will take it as a matter of sort of course. The fruit has to come and it has to go anyway and all. So you will be going on doing the cycle will be there. If the secondary roots are there, if you are indulging in the fruits, then you will only be, because the fruits will certainly fall off. When it fall off the ground, you will also fall. Likewise, then you get into that you have got unfulfilled desires are there, again you get into your birth. The birth and death cycle will go on, because once you get into the secondary roots and get into that, if the primary roots, you are able to see, it comes in the way and it goes off and all, then you go into that, because that perhaps, because you may not get that, and you will only be flowing through that like a river, the same course wherever it takes. But once you start indulgent, you will be getting into, because you will be doing all work, you will be doing all action for certain bliss and happiness you are working for. And you may do all the good deeds, with that intention. Once you do that, you will also get, that heavenly things, because there is 14 sort of worlds that has been described in your scriptures, because that is only a sort of indication. Like 14 ways of, because, sort of knowing, either 7 is the below, once you do all evil acts, you will go into the patal loks and all, then once you do the good things, you will go to Swarga and upwards. But whatever the three gunas you will be doing, it is like what Gayatri has said. We will be going into this material world depending upon whatever karmas have assigned us. The same thing will come back again and again. Once you understand that, this Urdhva Moolam Adoshakam will give you this spiritual knowledge. Finally, what it culminates is you will be doing everything to reflect the glory of the Lord in you, who is giving you the life-giving power and who is residing in you, immanent in you. You will, all your words, deeds, and acts, and everything will come in synchronized. You will be doing, you will not, and you will be taking everything as a matter of endurance and acceptance, and as well as you will be going about, you are working to your best of your ability and capability. And then once you do that, you will not be seeing, you will be respecting everyone to their, because even the person has got 100 different things in your opinion, but you will be finding one or two good qualities. You will just only be looking at that and you will be going off. You will not be bothered about the rest of the thing. You will be respecting everyone, irrespective of the status, symbol, or wealth, or power, or position. You will not be bothered about it. And third, you will be magnanimous. You will be opening up. You will be, if you possible, you will try to help. You will guide. You will be able to give whatever it is. You will not be considering anything, because you will be seeing the God in everything. And then, because there is no sort of a person who is who is despised, who is to be liked, and nothing, because that sort of a thing will not come at all. And as far as possible, you will be just going about it. You do your job, go about it, that is good enough. Then Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma Tad Eva Amrutatvam Uchate. Because they say that is the final one. Why it is there? Because the last one said, why this Urdhva Moolam, Ashwati observance, it is said. It is Sanatana. Whether you see the reflection, Yesha Ashwataha Sanatana, the one, which is changing in the river, because when the wobbling in the river, it continues, because it is there. And the original tree is always there. The reflection which we are able to see, because, we have assumed the body and mind, and, because we have come in this form, we will be able to see only the reflection, because we are not able to see the original tree. Once you understand that, you will only be seeing, because there are so many changes that is taking place when the things are pleasant, when the sun is shining, the tree will be reflected gloriously in the water. Then that is the happiness you will be getting. And when there is cloudy, because it's not reflecting as clearly as possible, because with all the smirks and other stains, then because that is the sorrow you will feel. But then it's all momentary, ephemeral, it will go off. But as a river, when you are going through the course without bothering about what is happening in the banks and all, your life will be very glorious. You don't have to worry about and all those things. So it has been described by so many sort of we have got so many denominations. They have given so many interpretation to the 15th first mantra, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Likewise, they have also tried to interpret this verse. We will see little of them, because this week and next week, to understand what is finally our takeaway, that we will also see. Yeshat Ashvataha. Ashvataha, in the sense, Ashvataha got a two meaning. One is it is always there. Ashvataha, it is not eternal. It is sort of a momentary. At the same time, because it is also constantly, visible. Both are there. It is a set of paradox. It is only in Sanskrit, because we can call it in Ashvataha. We know Ashvat tree. We know that, but the real meaning of it is it is not constant. It is changing. Constant, though it is constant, it is not in the same form. Like it wobbles. When it is a cloudy day and it shines a lot. Because when it is a fully shine, with a total breeze going about, it is a pleasant breeze flowing through. It is like this. So life is like that. But once once you have got the three qualities of, because reflecting the internal power in you, in your word, deed, and action, once because that you are not going to you are going to respect everyone, and you are not going to be sort of a keeping away from anyone whom you don't like and all, and you are able to take everyone in your sweep, and that gives you sort of because you are not bothered, but whoever comes because whoever needs, you are there for help, because you are available to them. It's not that you are forcing yourself to help someone. When someone needs it, you are available. And then once you are magnanimous, when you are open book, you are not bothered about because the greatest thing that has happened 10 years before, or miserable thing that happened 10 years before, 20 years before, or what is going to be happening and all, once you take it, let it's all happening. Once you understand that you are not special, you are like anyone, you become an open book. Once you become an open book, nothing to be bothered. They say tadeva shukram tad brahma. That is, because that happiness is as good as that of the final happiness, which you will be able to get when you finally attain the realization of the God. Tad Brahma, because that happiness is as that of the Brahma, because that Brahma, when he says that happiness is the one, finally it's not that, his happiness is being relatively being given. Okay, it is like that. Tad Brahma, Tadeva Amrtatvam Uchate. That is the immortal, that is the one, who is the sort of a base for the entire universe to be whole. And that is finally second, the last mantra says, the last line says, Tasmin Loka Shritaha. See, his happiness, his bliss, what we are trying to discuss, which words we cannot, because most indescribable bliss of the God, what we have seen, when we say in that only the entire universe is being situated, in the entire cosmos, the entire galaxies are situated. Sarve tata natyeti kaschana. None can transcend that. That is the ultimate. If there is a Chandrasekhar limit, because whatever has been said and propounded in the science, it is the ultimate God's limit. Beyond that, you can't go. Anything you can see, imagine, that is also covered. Everything is in his ambit. Nothing is beyond him. This they have tried to give, because all those things, more sort of esoteric words, most to be sort of looked, with the awe and phantasmagorical spectacle. But how am I to understand this? This is what this chapter is going to take. This is right, because but my limitations are there. I will not be able to. This has been very clearly said. You will not be able to understand the God in its totality. In its finality, we will not be able to understand. In its plenitude, we will not be able to understand. That is, no one can understand. we will be able to apprehend a bit. We will not be able to comprehend the whole the divinity. So this is the purpose of this, and this entire thing has been interpreted to give us how to lead our glorious life by various masters. We will also be seeing in that, because this is what the tree has been given. We will also see what are all the sort of parts of the tree, how it has been, the simile has been sort of interpreted in this, as well as the first mantra of 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Both we will see that. So here, one of the interpretations, because the people are normally trying to give, different, with the Advaita stream, the Shankaracharya has given a particular interpretation. So is Ramanujacharya. So is Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya has given. So is our Madhvacharya has also given. Basically, what we have to understand, we have seen, the entire creation, maintenance and destruction, is the power finally is only capable of doing it. What happens is, because we are all like seeds. How, become a seeds of the quality, how the quality of the seeds is based on our treasure trove of whatever we have gathered. Because if I have got, because all the wise things that I've done, and because I would be like a saintly team, like, what was in Manushatvam, Mumukshatvam, Mahapurushatvam, depending upon the quality, the seed quality will be there. The God is the fertile ground, and He gives us he waters us, He gives the shine and all everything. Finally, how we are growing up depending upon the quality of our seed. Every time when there is a sort of an entire pralaya or something taking all these things, the seeds get into their respective seed stage, and they are there. When the next, because the yuga comes, again they come back. And depending upon their cycle of experiences and how they are able to evolve, again it goes on. This evolution and going on year after year and yuga after yuga, and then, because one brahma yuga, they say, because the final one which is there and all, it is continuously been happening. That is why it is called sanatana, continuous, because there is no end to it. It will happen till such time, finally, because you get into the final liberation in which you are supposed to be not having any death or birth and all, because that will happen. It will also happen to all the sentients and insentients. How the sentients and insentients also get the reflection of the same Lord in different forms. It's all described, because another Upanishad, because Aitreya Upanishad and Taitreya Upanishad, there are indications are there. But, because then, to a limited extent, how this mantra is important, how it conjecture with the first mantra of 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's going to be wonderful, I think, because we will continue with the same mantra next week. Today, I will just close with this. This is giving you how to live a glorious life by understanding that is what is happening is ephemeral, and, because what we are observing, though it appears to be constant, our life appears to be constant, but it is ephemeral. Depending upon, because the things, how it is going to come also, we don't know how it has happened also. We only just with the selective memories what we have, because we have got selective dementia. We forget, whatever, we don't want to. And likewise, because that is a human nature of it. So with this, in this process, how we are to continuously, because we can, with the spiritual observance, how we can lead a wonderful life, whatever is left of us. That's what we are going to see it in the future mantras. I will conclude this, and you can also ask me if you have any queries. Sahana vavatu, sahana bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahaihi, tejasvinavadidamastu ma vishvidavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes, Prabhuda.
இன்னைக்கு நல்லா கிளியரா வந்தது வாய்ஸ் அண்ட்
Okay.
ரிசெப்ஷன்.
Okay. I think the internet is also.
பெங்களூர் வந்துட்டீங்களா இல்ல எங்க இருக்கீங்க?
I am in Bangalore now. Yes, madam, you were able to hear.
Bangalore vandacha?
Back to Bangalore.
Yes, sir, very clearly, very clearly. No breaking, nothing.
Okay.
But I am on my phone, so I can't put on my camera. So sorry.
Okay, sure. Anything would like to, madam? We have got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just one small. This is just yes or no, probably. But when prana enters, like at the time of conception, let's say, when prana enters the body of the baby, that enters from the Sahasrara, right?
Sahasrara, yes, prana enters through Sahasrara. So what happens is, because Sahasrara, when it enters, because, finally through that only, finally it has to go up. Yes, it enters through Sahasrara only.
Go out. So it will come from up, down, and then settle in Mooladhara as Kundalini. What? Like, I'm trying to correlate prana and Kundalini. No correlation.
Prana and
Like,
Kundalini.
why do we say Kundalini?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kundalini is? Your voice is?
That is also energy, coiled energy that rises from down to up, from Mooladhara to Sahasrara, right?
Yeah, because Mooladhara to Sahasrara, what happens is, because when the body, finally, when the energy comes, it gets distributed. Finally, the energy, once you focus, the entire your desires and all come from Mooladhara. So the entire Mooladhara, which is the sort of a foundation of desires, how you are controlling through the other chakras, Manipura, and how slowly, once you regulate it, then it goes up. But if you don't have, if your Manipura and Swadhisthana are very strong, it may not be able to go up at all. Because, if you are egoistic, you may not be able to achieve that. That is why, people with a lot of ego, they may not be able to achieve that. But and once you break the ego, then, it will be able to go up. That's why they are not able to achieve. That means your Swadhisthana is too strong. Your ego is too strong. That is it. And we will also see, beautiful similes are given. And you next week, I will give you little on the first mantra of 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That would be wonderful.